Hi everyone, how you all doing? Welcome back to Karen Vibes. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Guess I see that's the new trend now in persons. I'm greeting you. They say, "Oh, happy Sunday, happy Monday, or whatever the day is." So happy Sunday, y'all, and welcome back to Karen Vibes, reading for the mature audience. All right, so we're back again this week with our book, still on Minty Alley. All right, hope you all doing okay. Before I start, I want to thank the persons who took the time out to view my teas. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. So I am still waiting for, well, please remember when you come on my channel, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And I'm still waiting on you folks to leave a comment. Please remember to leave a nice comment about what you think. Or what you think about my reading or my teas and stuff like that. I actually have other teas coming out on the market, but these 4 teas, which is the pimento, fevergrass, soursop, and bay leaf, I've started with these 4 teas, and then I actually have other teas coming out. So all the teas have been crossed and the I's have been dotted for these teas, so they're registered, they're been passed by the BSJ, they are done by the SRC, so they're good stuff, and these are Jamaican teas, and no, they're not artificial or anything added, so you're getting the real deal. I have some other interesting teas coming out, so I am super excited about that. So I've just started to market these, so I'm looking forward to your support in K Spicy Teas. Support Jamaican owned, and other persons who have their products, Jamaican made products, let us support them as well, right? So let us support our own. So thank you for the views, but please leave a comment, please like, please subscribe and share. And I'm still waiting on some more subscribers in order for me to go live on YouTube, because I still have to be doing my videos and uploading them. But as I said before, you have to creep before you walk, so it is what it is. Alright, so before I get into my reading, there are a few things I want to comment on. And when I invented this space, when I started this space of reading, this is something that I love to do. So I know sometimes when I read, I probably have a little tongue and stuff like that, but it's always good to do what you love. So this space is really about just reading to the mature audience and just for persons to come and relax and hear interesting novels. And it doesn't always have to be novels, it can be science fiction, whatever it is. So in time I'll get into that. But I have to say this. There's a couple comments. I was listening to Andrea William, what's to call Andrea William, because I know she changed her name. Kabu Ma'atkeru. I was listening to her this morning on RFM, and she was speaking about, they had this march that they went to. They went to the Blue Lagoon Beach. It was March 5th that they went, and the government, because they went for a peaceful march, and the government brought out these soldiers and police with their AK-47 and stuff. Because I was listening to her, and she was saying that children were there and persons went there peacefully. And it's really disturbing for me. There's a lot of things that happen that are disturbing. But as I say, I have to comment on this. And it's really disturbing, because if you're going to somewhere, they went there to have a peaceful march. March and let their voices be heard about the beaches. But they're standing up about the beaches that are being taken away from the regular Jamaican person. So a lot of us are not having access to these beaches, right? And most times you have to pay to go into some of these beaches, and it's expensive. Worse if you have a family of 5 or 6 or 8, it depends. Even sometimes for a single person. So I made a comment on that to say that I want to stand with them and I want to add my voice. We as Jamaicans, we can't sit down and just watch our beaches being taken away, our country just going down, 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 down. Some people say probably gone already, but there's still hope. We can't sit down and just watch our country just go down, so. Right, we have to stand up. We have to stand up, and not having access, can you imagine just not having access to the beaches? And she was even speaking to another gentleman from down, where that place in Ochi, Little Duns River. And you know, the man was speaking about how they developed, I forgot his name, or that they gone, they went there and they developed the place and stuff. And I think a man was killed outside of the property on the road or wherever, outside of the property, and they closed down the place and barred them out and stuff. So I'm saying to us, all of us have our little platforms. We have our TikTok or YouTube or Facebook. Let us use our spaces and let our voices be heard. So I'm calling with them. I'm calling on the private sector, the public sector, the government, the musicians, the artists, the doctors, the nurses, the teachers, people in society, you know, whichever form of life that you are. I'm calling on everybody to let their voices be heard. Let us stand up, because if you can imagine if everybody unite and we stand up for a cause, what a difference this can make. Can you imagine what a difference this can make? So let us make our voices be heard. Let us stand up for our cause. Right? Let us take back our beaches. We can't just sit down and just make things go by like that, and we don't care and we think it doesn't affect us. You know, just like a lot of persons who dump their garbage on the road, and you know, they pass in the cars or the bus and they throw the garbage and just think, oh, it doesn't affect me. And it's always like a cycle. Like garbage goes into the sea, the river, the fish eat it back, and it comes right back to our table. So everything is a cycle, and everything ends up affecting all of us. So let us make our voices be heard in taking back our beaches. That's the first step. All right. So that was something I wanted to comment on. Now we have to stand up. We have to stand up. All right. So let us get into our reading. All right. So the name of the book that we're reading is, the name of it is Minty Alley. The name of the book is Minty Alley, and it's written by C.L.R. James, and it's narrated by me, Karen Ware. All right, so as I usually say, grab your tea, grab your lemonade or your cold drink or your coffee, and just relax listening for a while. All right, so the last time we were on, I read chapter 8. All right, and then we had stopped at, so we had finished chapter 8, stopped at chapter 9. We had stopped at the end of chapter 8, so we're going to start at chapter 9 now. So the part where we reached was Maisie was in the room talking to Haynes, because Haynes is the main character in the story. And then they heard a knock on the door, and then they figured that she realized that it was Ben. And the person in question, got the whole drama surround Ben. And then she went through the window, and then Haynes went to let him in and stuff. Alright, so if you're following my reading on Karen Vibes on YouTube, you would have seen where I left off. Alright, so at chapter 9, so let's begin. Ben wore a white suit and a spotted shirt and collar to match. He was, as usual, whenever he went out, smoothly shaven. But when he took off his hat, his hair was disordered. One of the buttons of his shirt was unfastened. His eyes were bloodshot, and his lips were pouted in the center and drawn at the corners. Have a cigarette, said Haynes. He took one and lit it and drew deeply 2 or 3 times while Haynes watched him and waited. Where is... He pointed with his thumb to Miss Antwell's room. Gone out, Haynes replied. He pulled deeply at the cigarette, offering no word of conversation. Having a little read, he said at last. Well, amusing myself, replied Haynes. Ben's appearance and manner made him nervous. You have anything to drink? Asked Ben, breaking another silence. Yes, there is some brandy I have left over from my illness. I have no soda though. You will have to take it with water. He poured and poured and poured and gulped it down and took a little water. You're not taking one? He asked, wiping his mouth. No, said Haynes. It was only then that he began to speak. Ah, boy. Hell of a thing happened here this afternoon, he said slowly. The nurse is my girl, you know, he continued. Long time now. And that one in there of late, she only quarreling. She is so damn stupid. My God. But this little spurt of wrath spent itself almost at once. Yes, I love the nurse, man. I love her, man. He was looking at Haynes, but absent-mindedly, and seemed to be talking chiefly to relieve himself. The nurse is a nice woman, man. A real nice woman. Nice color, straight hair, and a moving woman. The nurse and me understand one another well. Everything was going so good. He curled his lip and shook his head slowly. If it wasn't for the nurse, I wouldn't be sitting here tonight. He continued empathetically. No, I wouldn't be sitting here tonight. When she first come to live here, I take in one day. She was attending to a case. Lucky thing the baby was born already. She used to go home and she used to go and come, as they didn't want her all the time, you see. I take in the kitchen in a fit and they lift me up. That one in there was in hell. Lucky thing the nurse come in. As soon as she see me, she say, oh God, is a stroke he getting? We have to turn it. And she started to work on me. Warm application, hot bath. She sent for medicine to the doctor's shop as if she was a doctor, and she turned it back. The doctor come afterwards, but he said if it wasn't that the nurse was on the spot and do everything, I might have been a dead man or a cripple. I can't forget the nurse, man. And you can see for yourself that she is a nice woman. Haynes nodded. And I help her too, you know. Yes, I help her. When the woman first came here, she was nothing. Nobody used to watch her. Didn't used to give her no jobs, nothing. And then I take her in hand. I know some science, you know. And I talk to that one in there. She said, yes, we take her into the house and I work on her. I put her to stand up before me naked as she born. And I that remind me, as I read this part of the story, I remember I listened to this program one time where this woman was saying how she took her sister to the science person. I don't remember where in Jamaica, somewhere in Kingston. And They were saying that they weren't no real, no, they weren't any real Obia persons, but they were just trying to fleece money from people. So they took the woman to the science person. The science man made the woman take out the whole of her clothes and stand up in there washing herself with some dirty water and stuff. And I don't know, people can believe in some of these things. My God. Kill her dead, should have swear, say that help her. Got her out of trouble or whatever it was. So when I reading this, I remember that story. But you know, they always say the mind is very powerful. What you believe, trust me. What you believe. Okay, somebody tell us, say, dump you out there, so whatever it is, and you really believe it, then it went out there. The mind is so powerful. So anyway, let's continue. So he said, I put her to stand up before me as she born, naked as she born, and I said the prayers over her for 9 days. We boiled the bath and I bathed her myself and tell her what to do. In 3 months, you wouldn't know was the same woman. The woman started to get jobs. We lend her some money. She put in telephone. She buy glasses. She started to dress. And she began to make some good little money. Yes, yes. I who fix her up. If it wasn't for me, she would have been still down to the ground. He remained silent, looking sometimes at the walls, sometimes at the bottle on the table, sometimes at Haynes, but always with the same expression of abstraction, tempered by uncertainty. But Haynes himself had ceased to think of the Ben sitting before him. Instead, he saw the nurse standing naked before Ben without a stitch, and Ben performing the rites. He wondered if Ben was naked too. Was there ever such a rigmarole? If Ben was not there, he would have burst out laughing. Oh my goodness. If Ben was not there, he would have burst out laughing. Can you imagine Ben bathing the nurse and Mrs. Rose allowed it? He shook his head. This Ben was a hell of a fellow though, he thought. Haynes gazed at him with fascination. Ben raised his head with a jerk and said sharply, "She'll lie if she thinks this is going to make me give up the nurse though." "Oh, you mean to continue with her?" said Haynes, who in his simplicity had looked upon the affair as over. "If I have to leave this one, the nurse going good. Her color help her, you see. She does not only attend to the white people, and when she leaving, they give her presents, brooch and watch, and sometimes $10 extra. If you see the presents the woman does get, and this one here, her business going bad. There ain't no money in cakes again, man." What a terrible man. "But if you keep on with the nurse, Mrs. Rose is going to be very angry," said Haynes. "Let her vex if she want. Make she vex if she want. She have her husband. I ain't a married man. If she bother me, I leave her tomorrow. But that is all right. She love me too much. I can always bring her around." He smiled for the first time, a confident, almost contemptuous smile. "You work it by your science?" said Haynes. "No science, but when you see me loving a woman, she never want to give me up, man. She rather die first. I am taking another drink of your brandy." He took it and went, a less worried man than when he had come in. Haynes went to bed and thought of the developments of the morrow. But when the next morning nothing happened. Mrs. Rose was up early and went to market as usual, but dressed today as if she was going to high mass. When she came back, she took off the dress. but she still wore her Sunday shoes and stockings. Her hair also remained as it was on festive occasions, and she moved about the kitchen and the yard cheerfully and with vigor. So Haynes must say, wonder what now, what how this change of character. Let us read on, make we hear what's happening now. Haynes, looking to see her broken or depressed, was thoroughly bewildered and slightly disappointed, because I am bewildered too. We want to know how she's so happy with all of this excitement what go on. Let us read on. Ben was entertaining 2 or 3 friends as on an ordinary Sunday morning, and they were all talking, laughing, and drinking in the dining room. Once he came to the door and called to Mrs. Rose. Hey, we want some more ice. Send and get some for us. Phyllis was sent flying. It was late before Haynes opened his door and was seen by Mrs. Rose. Good morning, Mr. Haynes. Good morning. I am well, thank you. She smiled brightly and understandingly. Phyllis, my girl, be careful with that ice. Phyllis, my girl, be careful with that rice. You know Mr. Ben don't like it boiled too soft. You know Mr. Ben don't like it boiled too soft. I hope you slept well, Mr. Haynes. So, Ben had been good as his boast and had indeed brought her around. Haynes spoke to Ella about the affair, but Ella treated it as of no importance. These people, sir, don't bother with them, sir. Last night she was cutting the man's throat. This morning she licking his foot. I think I've never heard that before. What she say? These people, sir, don't bother with them, sir. So this is Ella, Haynes' help talking to Haynes, and here she's saying to him, these people, sir, don't bother with them, sir. Last night she was cutting his throat. This morning she licking him foot. Guess that's another saying. So that's the end of chapter 9. Alright, so let's go on. I wonder if I should pause. Alright, so chapter 10. Ooh, chapter 10 is a little long. Chapter 10 is long. Alright, I'm going to pause here, upload chapter 9 that I just finished reading, and then I'm going to come back and reread chapter 10. Because chapter 10, yes, is a bit long, and I want to do another chapter. Alright, so let's close out here. We'll be back.